Am I audible? Those who have joined
Yes,
online,
yes, sir.
and are you able to see the PPT per se?
No,
Hello?
no, no, no,
Hello?
sir.
Hello?
No, sir.
Yes, I have you.
PPT नहीं दिख रही है, sir.
Am
Nine.
I audible?
Yes.
Fine. Maybe someone has not joined in as yet. So we'll start. So good evening. We are starting with this topic of paper 20A, which is about ICAA final paper 20A, titled as Strategic Performance Management and Business Valuations. In short, SPMBV. Myself, Pushkaraj Vishnu Joshi. That's my background. I'm a commerce law graduate. Okay, all this introduction I have already done in my first lecture. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a company secretary of India and UK as well. So I'm a management accountant from Australia. I've done my PGDBA. I'm a SEBI registered social auditor also. So I'm here engaged by the Institute of Cost and Work Accountant for impart or help understand the topic of strategic performance management and business valuation. Now this is a paper structure that we have. Okay. In a way, that's my style of studying, which I have been using for all my professional examinations. To start with the basics, so that's this kind of slides will be always getting flashed. So we are studying in a way the first chapter, which is of 10 marks, majorly theoretical, which will be because it's just a starting of the entire concept of strategic performance management, and hence. The title is about Introduction to Performance Management, and the reference material which I have used is all our study material which has been provided by the institute only, because I believe the material is brilliant. Undoubtedly it has been always, and hence all my PPTs will be based on the study material that has been provided, so that it's relevant, precise as expected by the institute. And obviously there are a lot of reference materials which are available in the market. You can always refer to those. Class notes will be there, plenty of so much of huge material which will confuse you also at times. So best way is to stick to the alumni or the institute for whose examinations you are preparing. That's what my style of studying was, which I am sharing also in a way. And hence, let's begin with the topic, Introduction to Performance Management. So in Introduction to Performance Management, in which these are the, so module 1, Introduction to Performance Management had these 8 chapters, okay. Now these 8 chapters, out of these 8 chapters, first 2 concepts we have done with yesterday. Yesterday means day before yesterday, when I did the first lecture of the topic. Today we will try to cover the next 2 chapters, and as the session follows, so next so and so forth we will start off with, so that nothing goes left out. Entire syllabus is covered in my sessions. That's what the intent is, and accordingly we'll start with the procurement to pay and vendor relationship management. Now, because why these topics typically procure to pay or
कल मिल रहे हैं.
vendor relationship management?
आज
So if
था,
at all
बुधवार
one
भी गया,
particular
गुरुवार भी
performance
गया.
management of an organization is to be looked at, it
आज
has to be
उपवास
looked at
खरे मेरा.
360 degree. It can't be just looked at from a costing point of view or finance point of view. It's a performance, holistic performance that is supposed to be managed. Okay, if at all the organization has to be successful, then only it will be real a success, right? Business performance will be really successful so as to improve. Only if costing is good, finance is good, HR is good will not help. The whole purpose of, and more so, why procure to pay? Because it has a direct impact on the financial aspects of the organization, the financial performance. And hence, second topic, which is about supply chain management. So supply chain management again is a, in a way, what you can say, sub-concept of the vendor relationship management only. Whatever is we are going to procure, how that is going to get supplied to us. At the same time, after having procured, either it will be a raw material to be converted into finished good, and that finished goods finally has to be sold out in the market. So that supply chain, how it is going to happen. So it's both way, demand and supply. So both the aspects of entire procurement process is what we are going to look at and deep dive into it. So let's understand what is meant by procurement to pay. Now if you see, the word procurement means to purchase, in a way, procure, buy. That's how a business will procure. To pay, pay means after having bought, the goods will get delivered to us, and the final, if at all it is on cash basis, it will have to be paid immediately, cash on delivery kind of a thing. If at all it is going to be bought on a credit basis, the payment will be done after a particular credit period which will be agreed between the two parties, the vendor and the buyer. So buyer and seller. So he's selling to us, I am buying, as simple as that. I means the organization which I am representing. And hence when I am making the payment, how the payment has to happen. So it's a end-to-end process which we are looking at, and that's typically ERP. Enterprise resource planning is this only. On one side, from the supply side, I am checking whether the procurement is happening properly or not. At the same time, when the payment is required to be made upon delivery or on cash credit basis, whether my financial resource planning is happening properly or not, right? So that's where the enterprise ERP comes into play, enterprise resource planning. So resources are getting planned accordingly to the process which is being there. So let's understand, and then the one who is from whom I am procuring, again it's a relationship which I have to maintain so that the insurance or assurance of the procurement is assured. And then how do we vendor relationship management? So one who supplies is either called as a supplier or a creditor, because I am supposed to pay him if I buy it on credit, or he is called as a vendor. Okay, so then I have to ensure that the relationship with him is always maintained and managed well, so that the procurement is assured and is in a continuous, unhampered, undisturbed manner. So that's the intent out of it. So understanding procure to pay. So typically in nowadays business terminology, these jargons are coming into existence. Procure to pay means P2P, because P2P is like fancy word which has been given by the corporate, procurement to pay. Now you can ask me questions. So since we have a classroom session also at the same time going on, if you have any doubt, Umed, then please do ask. Yeah, we can address to it. So again, if someone has joined online, then kindly ask any questions. You can stop me anywhere, anytime, and I can try to address and the answers if at all anyone has joined. However, having said so, I am not able to see if at all anyone has joined online, but that's fine. So beginning with, it's a process, right? Procurement, it's not like going to the market and buying something. Business organization don't buy that way. It has to be done systematically, it has to be done methodically, it has to be done well documented. So all these aspects are there, and hence it's a end-to-end process itself, including the vendor relationship. So let's understand the process. What is the purpose and value? The P2P process integrates procurement and accounts payable, enhancing financial health by reducing cost and adding value. So what does that mean? First of all, So first, so for, so first of all, the so P2P process integrates procurement and accounts payable. Accounts payable means the creditors management, typically the vendor management, because if at all the goods are to be procured not on cash basis but on credit basis, then the accounts payable situation arises. Now accounts payable etc. we know, right? Because in a way accounts payable means creditors in financial terms. So the entire process integrates procurement and credit management or creditors management, enhancing financial health. Why financial health gets enhanced? Because in a way, if at all I have to pay, I have to ensure that that much of liquidity is there at that point in time when the procurement is required to be honored. Right? If at all it's cash on delivery, so if at all it is cash on delivery, then I need to have immediate liquidity also when the goods are getting delivered to my doorstep or the organization doorstep. And that's why it's a integrated process, right from procurement, buying of the goods till the payment of the value of goods by the time the delivery is happening. So in a way it reduces the cost of what? Because if at all I have to ensure that the funds have to be managed well, I need to ensure that the funds are not sitting idle. So if I know when the procurement is going to happen and when the delivery is going to happen, then in a way I need not, I can plan my financial resources accordingly, ensuring that I don't borrow. If at all I have to borrow to make the payment well in advance, I can borrow at the time of the payment only, and hence I reduce the interest cost in terms of borrowing if at all I require to borrow, if at all, for making the payment to the vendor, right? Because at times the procurement could be of very huge value and lot of contract value would be there, and hence maybe I might not be able to pay from the existing bank balances which I have. At times I might have to procure also. So in a way it's a better maximum best utilization of the financial resources that I can plan, because there is a end-to-end integration of the process. At times earlier days what used to happen, that the goods have come and got delivered at your doorstep, and then you run around for your payment making ability, or else then you have to tell to the delivery person that okay, or the vendor that okay, though I am supposed to pay when the delivery is happening, right now I am finding financial crunch and I don't have financial resources right now, I don't have money to pay you, so kindly extend the credit period. Then what will happen, the vendor will ask for interest because of delayed payment. So that reduces the entire cost, So one, cost of borrowing gets reduced. Secondly, if at all any interest on delayed payment has to be done, that will get saved because I am managing the timing of the financial resources appropriately, as I know when the delivery is going to happen. So in a way the P2P process ensures right from booking, ordering till the payment stage comes up, which includes transportation, which includes delivery, which includes if at all in between some loss or damages happened, that also is covered up in a way. It covers insurance in terms of the in-transit, goods in transit. So that will be ensured. So that's how reducing the cost and thereby adding value to it. That's what adding value to the entire firm. It adds value. Your cost is saved, it adds value, as simple as that. The key role again that it plays as a P2P process is it facilitates efficient purchasing of material services, improves vendor relationships, and maximizes buying power. Buying power means I have more liquidity, so I can bargain with the vendor for a lesser cost. So that's the buying power, because I have strong financial resources, because my management is better, so I can bargain more, I can have a maximized buying power also. Improves vendor relationship, because then I am assuring in the entire P2P, I am assuring that he gets the payment timely. If the delivery is on cash basis, it will get, the payment will be made on time when the delivery happens. So vendor assurance, vendor gets the assurance that okay, the organization is good to deal with, or to have a business relationship with them. Yes or no? So that's how the utility of this or the role of this P2P process is, again it facilitates efficient purchasing of material. So proper planning of the raw material buying, or even finished goods buying also, if at all you are in trading business. If you are in manufacturing business, then yes, there will be procurement of raw material predominantly, or ancillary goods, etc., supplies, whatever you want. So it's just not about procurement to pay, is not just about only raw material, it's even about services also. So it's all about goods and services. Everywhere where there, whatever the business organization is going to procure, either goods or services, it's going to ensure that the entire P2P process is applicable and efficiently managed for both the kind of vendors. So vendors who are providing goods and vendors who are going to provide services. Now who could be a vendor who are providing services? Typically, advertisement person, agency, or say lawyer or accountant, or any transporter if at all any payment is to be made, insurance company, all these are service providers. So all that payment also will be ensured because of this P2P process. So it's just not about goods, it's all about the entire payments that are required to be made for procuring goods and services, because any business organization will always procure either goods or services. That's the only possible procurement way that will happen, or capital assets for that matter. Assets typically like vehicles, machinery, etc. So it facilitates efficient purchasing of material services, improves vendor relationships, and maximizes buying power. Then another attribute to the payment process is procurement plan. Provides a structured purchasing roadmap to prevent delays, minimize wastage, and ensure smooth workflow. Because again, it's an entire chain of activities. Right from the material comes to your doorstep, there are various steps or activities that will be conducted in terms of production also for that matter. All that gets structured and well planned. Every small activity related to the production can be well managed and planned. There is no holding up of any, wastage of any time also. So time gets saved, cost gets saved, and efforts get saved. So it will not happen that the raw material is yet to come and hence the entire production process is stalled or is held up or got halted. Entire activities will be smooth, flawless, seamless, etc. There will not be any waiting periods in between the entire process, right from the raw material procurement till the finished goods production that will be happening. So that's the efficiency gets built up because of this. So procurement planning can be done well. Structured purchase roadmap can prevent delays, minimize wastage, ensure smooth workflows. Then comes the more important attribute, which is about vendor management. Now I can, in a way, have a good pool of vendors or a team of vendors, or what you can say, a group of vendors in that matter, wherein I can diversify my risk also. Having one vendor only for a particular item is not a good way to run your procurement process. What if he denies, or what if his business gets collapsed? Then where will I go for the raw material? So in a way I can plan and vendor manage myself well. That's very critical for any procurement plan, so that I can have alternative vendors also, substitutes also available for myself, who can equally ensure that the procurement is happening on time or not. So that's the diversification, risk diversification. Because if at all any particular procurement, if at all any particular vendor is unable to, for some reasons, at least I have some alternate options available for myself to procure from that vendor also. So this is what vendor management is. Ensures effective collaboration between the procurement and vendors to optimize supply chain performance. So let's say there is a chain of activities which is involved. So if A vendor is unable to supply for some reasons, I can immediately contact the B vendor also, or else I can, whatever quantity requirement is required for my production purposes, maybe I will distribute between both. Sorry. So maybe I can, so 100 instead, if at all I want to buy 100, I will go for 50-50 instead of buying it from one only, right? So that's how the vendor management is all about, de-risking yourself from any haltage, stoppage or any adverse situation that may arise. Because then the whole purpose is to ensure that the supply chain doesn't get impacted, the supply of raw material or services is not hindered. So this is the criticality aspects of vendor management. That's where the collaboration aspect comes into, collaboration between the procurement and vendors. So purchase team and vendor has to keep on talking to each other. So procurement means what? Purchase team. Okay, as simple as that. Purchase function or purchase department. Then comes important attribute in the process or the benefits is continuous improvement. Now it's like a process always has to keep on improving. Otherwise it becomes static, stagnant and absolute also. So I have to keep in search of various vendors, keep on tapping, talking to them, so that the alternative choices and or maybe there could be some vendors who are coming up with some good quality of raw material or good quality of services also. So have them in your pool of vendors always. That kind of a continuous improvement in the process also is achieved. So P2P process is iterative. Iterative means keep on improving, keep on changing for the betterment, improving with each cycle for better financial outcome. Now what is the financial outcome out of the P2P process? To ensure continuous or frequent or at regular intervals the supply as the way my production cycle is, right? So each cycle for better financial outcomes. So each production cycle, if at all maintained well, will help me to save money a lot, and that's what the financial outcome is, because there will not be any wastage because of time. There will not be any delays which will be there. My production cycle will ensure my marketing cycle also. So that's how the production cycle is required to be continuously improved also. So this is, in a way, we are trying to understand what procurement process is all about. Just to give a diagrammatic presentation, this is how the cyclical process is all about. Process is cyclical, it's not linear. It's not linear, it's not one after the other, it's a cyclical obviously. So what is the starting point here, if you at all? I have to identify your starting point. What would be the starting point? Accounts payable. So let's understand the steps out of it. Issue of purchase requisition, vendor selection, issuance of purchase order, logging of serious documents related to P2P process. Then comes receipt verification and reconciliation of invoice, and then comes accounts payable, right? So this is how the accounting function also works typically. So the starting point over here for the procurement process is issue of purchase requisition. I need to tell the outer world or the vendor also what is my request, what is my purchase requisition, what is my requirement first of all. Then only I'll be able to get that raw material. So the starting point is issue of purchase requisition. So I'll in a way inquire with various vendors whatever raw material I want and whatever those relevant raw material suppliers would be. Let's say I want to procure material A. In that case, I'll be asking the vendors who are suppliers for material A only. I will not be asking to the suppliers of vendor B, vendors of material B. So that's the efficiency that gets built up because I know what I need. So the starting point is issuance of purchase requisition, then followed by vendor selection. That's what I said. So if I need material A, I need to identify vendor who is providing material A only. Clear? Then comes, okay, I identified, he is willing to supply that much. He has that capacity to supply that much quantity of products to me. Agreed? So the agreement initially on the requisition happens. The intent gets clear that, okay, yes, I am able to provide to you that much of qualitative and quantitative requirement of yours. Both has to get matched. Then only that vendor selection is perfect. Because if he is able to give that quantity but not able to match the quality, that vendor is of no use to me. Because my production output will get impacted. My finished goods will get impacted. As simple as that. So that's why the vendor selection will be done only if at all he is able to ensure that the purchase requisition factors or aspects that have been mentioned. So typically when the purchase requisition is given, the requisition slip is always deciding or giving the quality, dimensions, type of raw material that I need or type of goods that I need and the quantity of that. So both are mentioned, the type, quality and the quantity, and at what rate I need, because that's again important. That vendor should be willing to provide me that material at that rate which I am able to afford, right? Then only the final selection happens, and then because now the deal is cracked, and hence this needs to be in a way translated into a contractual document, and then issuance of purchase order comes. Now it's a contract, or purchase order is a contract, legal contract. There can be cases or suits which can be filed based if at all there is any dispute about the purchases that have been done. If at all there is a issue about the quality, issue about the quantity, issue about the type of product that got procured or dispatched, then it's not as per the purchase order. So either of the party can go to the court of law and claim damages for it, because somewhere something has gone wrong and somewhere someone is going to pay for it or get penalized because of it. So it's a contract, issuance of purchase order. Then comes logging of serious documents related to P2 process, P2P process. Now what are the logging of various documents? So typically the goods received note, delivery challan, nowadays because of GST, e-way bill, okay, the transportation documents, the insurance copy, all these will be various documents related to the P2P process, right? So the goods received note will ensure that whatever goods had been ordered under or mentioned in the purchase order are getting delivered or not. Then there will be a goods inward note, whatever that process of our procurement is, factory, at the factory gate there will be a delivery challan which will be showed. The storekeeper will ensure that whether the goods are as matching with the purchase order or not. All these things will be ensured, and then accordingly those documents will be logged in either into the system or it will be filed in manual or in physical form, whichever way the documents have been received. So logging of various documents related to P2P process comes into play. So now in a way the goods have come, delivered, everything is fine, the quality assurance people have checked it, whether the goods are as per required. Once that is done, so in a way receipt, so receive the goods, receipt of the goods, then verification, as I said, so verify whether that much quantity has really come in or not. So maybe the goods received note would be stating that 100 kgs of so and so has been sent, but if at all actually in between some pilferage or theft has happened, loss has happened, or short quantity only has been received, then that goods received is not correct. So whoever is the storekeeper will make a remark saying that, okay, 100 though mentioned in the goods received note or delivery challan 100, goods received note will be always of whatever the real quantity, actual quantity that has been received. Yes or no? So receipt, of the goods, verification of the goods that have been received, and reconciliation of the invoice. So along with the delivery, the vendor will always send the invoice. The invoice will be for that much amount or that much quantity which he has dispatched. But if we have not received that much of quantity what he has dispatched, then there may be a situation where reconciliation of invoice will have to be done, because then the invoice is not as what we have received. It is for the dispatch quantity which the vendor feels that he has dispatched, or maybe he would have really dispatched it that much, but in between something wrong has happened, maybe short quantity has received, or because of some miscommunication the invoice has got raised for the entire quantity only, but in actual the loading, while loading, certain quantity was not loaded. It can happen. And then in that case, if the invoice is of a larger amount or larger quantity, then I will be booking the goods received as actuals. He is sending the invoice as per the dispatch. So there is a mismatch between the two, and hence the reconciliation arises. Someone will have to sit across and do a reconciliation of invoices in terms of, because finally as a business organization I'll pay for, if the terms of conditions state that okay I have to pay for what I have received, then I will not be paying for 100 kgs, I will be just paying for 90 kgs, assuming 90 has got delivered to me. And then there is a reconciliation of invoice to be done for this 10 kgs quantity. So this is where the vendor management will have to come in place. Someone has to talk to the vendor immediately as soon as he sees that okay only 90 quantity has come in. He has to intimate to the vendor, maybe nowadays with mail or some kind of a communication or a letter or a correspondence or a fax, whatever, or a phone call. Immediately call up the marketing guy of that vendor saying that okay that much quantity short has been received. So it's a short quantity. You are saying this only, no? It's coming up. That's why. So that after that, then comes the accounts payable. So in a way, or it can so happen. It's just not about short quantity. Instead of 100, 110 has been said. Then what? Now I do need 100 only. He has sent 110. Now at times as an organizer I need to take a call that okay now this 10 has been sent deliberately, or whether it's by mistake or by oversight that he has sent 10 extra. I need to highlight either short or excess, whichever way it is, as per the circumstances are, and communicate to him either by way of some kind of a communication method or media or mode. And then if the invoice is still, because all this if the invoice is of 110, it may so happen that okay I will send 10 back, I don't need them, why should I buy, right? Why should I pay extra? I don't need 10 more, it will sit, it will remain idle, unless like it's a recurring item. It's like okay right now 10 extra has come, but anyway instead of sending it back, I can keep it, retain it, buy it and pay for that also. It will help me in my next cycle, whichever way, that's allowed, that's possible. So then this accounts payable situation will have to be accordingly dealt with, because then whether the creditor is for 90 kgs or 110 kgs, that situation will arise. Okay, now if it might so happen that the vendor is not at all aware that okay 10 extra has gone, he might send the invoice of 100 only, right? Because he knows that purchase order is for 100, but at actuals 110 has happened or has been dispatched and delivered, or 90 has been dispatched or delivered. Either ways, vendor is not aware, because many people are there in this process. The dispatch guy is different, the accounts guy is different, accounts will be sending the invoice. So there might be some miscommunication between the two also, and the invoice would have been received for 100 kgs. Then what to do with 110 and what to do with 90? So this reconciliation, this relationship is where what the vendor management has to do. So this is how the entire P2P process normally happens. There could be certain more activities that can come into the process, but the starting point is typically knowing the requirement of how much quantity I need myself as an organization. Accordingly, place a purchase requisition or prepare a purchase requisition, and thereafter select the vendor, appropriate vendor, right vendor as per my requirement, and then once agreed send a purchase order, get the deliveries of the goods, all the relevant documents, do the reconciliation of the quantity and quality verification, etc., and settle the accounts payable. So this is by large the P2P process. Then comes the phases of various procure to pay. So again, being a process, there are various stages and phases which are there. So first is the purchase order phase, covers requisition creation, vendor evaluation selection, and issuance of purchase order. So all these three typically comes into the purchase order phase, right? So issuance of requisition, vendor selection, and issuance of purchase order is the first purchase order phase. Then comes receiving phase, wherein involves receiving goods and services, verifying documents, and ensuring accurate records. So in that case, this to this is the process which is about receiving phase. So this is the receiving phase. These two circles is the receiving phase. The goods have come, the documents have come, verification is going on, confirmation is being given, what has been procured, etc., etc. And then comes what? The invoicing phase. So over here the reconciliation of invoice happens. So this is invoicing phase. Invoicing phase reconciles invoices with purchase orders and delivery notes, correcting errors before accounts payable processing. Now then, once this is confirmed, invoice is okayed, it goes to accounts payable team, it goes to the payment team, and they will settle the payment as per the credit terms or the payment terms which have been agreed in the purchase order. So payment, accounts payable always has to adhere with the purchase order. So if the purchase order terms and conditions are stated that okay, you need to pay only after 45 days of delivery, then this accounts payable guy should not hurry and make a payment immediately. He should wait, and thereafter only payment should be done as per the purchase order terms. So this is about invoicing phase. Then comes the workflow efficiency. So seamless transitions across these phases reduces the delay and errors, enhances the operational efficiency. So if these three things are seamlessly done, perfectly done, then your efficiency is bound to get enhanced in the entire procurement process or the production pipeline. So thus is this workflow enhances the efficiency, seamless transitions between the various phases reduces the delay and errors, enhances operational efficiency. And last is the strategic impact. A well-defined P2P process strengthens financial stability and supports business growth. So in a way, my supply side is assured. Supply side, I don't have to worry about it. It's streamlined, seamless. No one needs to worry whether I'll getting the material, raw material services or not, etc., etc. It's assured flow of the pipeline of raw material or whatever that goods I am procuring, finished goods for that matter if I am into trading business. So this is a strategic impact. In a way it strengthens the entire financial stability. So the uncertainty and the running around for finances will be well managed. I don't have to worry about financial management at all. I can plan my financial resources well, and which has a very good strategic impact as a business strategy also. So that's what the process is and the phase of process is of P2P. So again, just to go into more detail, the key stages of P2P process, as we saw requisition orders, the P2P process begins with the detailed request for goods and services aligned with the procurement plan to avoid delays. So I need to tell him correctly what I want. That's where the requisition slip is, purchase requisition. If I tell something wrong and the delivery happens something wrong, who is going to be the responsible person? I only, because I didn't give the requirement clearly. So that's where the requisition orders have to be looked up, well prepared in terms of what exactly the requirement is. So that should align with the procurement plan. So the procurement plan is required to be prepared depending on the production cycle also. ensuring when I need which kind of a raw material, whether I should have a just-in-time kind of a inventory or whether I can just stock the inventory or have a entire inventory available at the stores all the time, depending on what sort of method we adopt. So there is something called just-in-time kind of a inventory mechanism also. One another way to have stocked it at my stores always, so as to avoid any delay. So both ways the procurement plan alignment has to happen when the requisition is being placed. Now while putting a requisition, if I know that there is this raw material or the goods available already in the stock, then my requisition should be accordingly. Because if there is stock and still I am procuring, it doesn't make sense, because every unutilized stock which is lying in the godown or the stores is nothing but cash lying on the floor. It's money which is lying on the floor idle. If at all there is a stock, huge stock which is lying and still I am procuring. So there is both way hit. One, my money has got blocked and lying idle on the floor in the shop or in the stores. And secondly, over and above, I am ordering, and hence I need to run around for the financial management also, financial resources also. So both way it's a mismanagement of financial resources, and hence this is very critical to know what I need or to tell what I need. And while telling what I need to check at my home only whether there is anything which is already lying idle, which is stock, unutilized stock. Okay. So vendor selection. Vendors are evaluated based on RFPs. RFPs is what? Request for procurement. Okay. So RFPs are vendors are evaluated based on RFPs. So when I need a particular material, I will do a round of check with the various vendors. I'll send RFPs to them, and they will come back to me saying that, okay, we have this product, we are willing to provide it to you at this rate, whatever you are agreed, at this quantity or at the kind of quality that you want. So that is RFP, request for procurement or purchase, whichever way. So that will be it's like asking for quotations, you know. I'll have to ask for quotation, give me quotation, this is my need, give me your quote now. This is the quantity and the quality that I need, this is the rate at which I can pay. Or I don't take the rate, I just do an inquiry. Okay, if I need this product and this quantity, tell me whether you are willing to provide it to me or not, and at the same time tell me the rate. That's called the quotation. So vendor will send the quotation based on the RFPs that has been sent by me to him. And in that RFPs, the factors that will be considered will be the cost, quality and terms to ensure optimal procurement. That's what the RFP and quotation stage is, vendor selection. Then comes the purchase order issue. So once the quotation is received, I am okay with the cost, I am okay with the quality, I am okay with the timelines that within which he is going to supply, I am okay with the what you can say, the credit period that he is asking for. Then the final selection of that vendor happens. So these are the parameters or factors which are considered when the vendor is being selected. So once vendor is decided, finalized, then his vendor registration is to be done. If he is a fresh vendor, if he is a repeat vendor, then maybe the vendor master will be there. So I need to ask for the KYC documents of his. I need to know his GST number. I need to know his PAN, because while making, I need to know his bank account details. So all the KYC documents of that particular vendor after selection has to be received along with the maybe before the purchase order is being raised. Okay, so that's how the vendor selection happens. Then comes the purchase order issuance. So finalized orders are communicated to the vendors, and relevant documentation is logged for record keeping. So once the purchase order, once the quotation is received, we are okay, agreed in principle agreement. So it's like quotation is like a MOU, memorandum of understanding. So we have agreed, I have sent you the request, you have understood it, you have agreed to provide and honor the requirement, and hence now we are converting this arrangement or the agreement into a contract, valid contract, by issuing a purchase order. So every purchase order is a legal document. it will capture all the business requirement or the procurement requirement. At the same time, there will be lot of legal clauses which will be there, payment terms will be there, delivery terms will be there, insurance terms will be there, damages terms will be there. If at all any delay is happening, then those clauses will be there. All these aspects comes in the purchase order. So every purchase order will have terms and conditions clauses in the purchase order along with the specifications of the material that is or the services that are required to be procured. Okay? So that's purchase order. Then comes invoice processing. So after the delivery has happened, records, documents have come, KYC is being done, I get the invoice. So e-invoicing system nowadays reconcile invoices with the purchase orders and delivery records, e-way bills typically, before forwarding the document or the invoice to the accounts payable. So there is again an invoice processing team who, so how will you give the invoice to the processing? Typically if I have to see the process, I will forward the invoice that has been received along with the delivery documents. I will check the invoice details, I will check the related, whether it's a tax invoice, whether the GST amount is being properly mentioned or not, whether the product details are being properly mentioned or not, whether the supporting e-way bill is capturing the required details or not as per the GST law, GST Act. I will ensure whether that invoice is matching with the delivery challan and the goods received note or the inward note, or if at all any debit credit note is being issued along with that. According to that also I will be checking the invoice, and then if everything is okay, vendor creation has happened in the system, I will give it onward to the payment team or the accounts payable team for making the necessary payment as per the terms and conditions of the purchase order, right? So then comes delivery records before forwarding to the accounts payable. So all these checkpoints have to be done before processing the invoice. So in a way the invoice will be get stamped as good to pay, okay, or okay to pay. So that remark has to be there on the invoice, and then that invoice is required to be sent to the accounts payable team, wherein they will make the final payment as per the bank details that have been provided. Now either it could be by way of a NEFT, RTGS, online banking, whatever the accounts payable team, otherwise the process of payment is. So automation and efficiency, integration with vendor portals ensures streamlined workflows, reducing manual errors and enhancing efficiency. So nowadays automation is substituting all the processes also at the same time. So maybe the delivery challan etc., which we used to come in physical format, nowadays it is uploaded on the portal. It's available for anyone. The vendor might give you access to his portal. There is a movement of goods are being tracked. So there are various softwares and tools which track the movement of goods also. Even for that matter, as simple as that, if at all I as a retailer I am ordering and procuring something from the Amazon, let's say. So even when I place an order, I get the tracker of my order also on the application, right? Dispatch from the source supplier, out for delivery, in transit, about to reach at a particular point in time. So all this is automated nowadays. Earlier we used to have to pick up the phone and call him up, asking the vendor, have you sent the material or not? If not, then when are you sending? So nothing doing nowadays, no more communications required. I can see the vendor portal itself and track the material movement by myself. That's the kind of flexibility technology is providing nowadays, provided we adopt. If the vendor has adopted that and has given access to me, then I can easily track my, so less of communication, less of confusion, less of complexities, saving of time, saving of cost, everything is there, no delays. Real time basis I can keep a track of the procurement of the raw material or the services that is there. So these are the key stages which are involved in the P2P process. Then comes the vendorship relationship management. So because now this is seamlessly happening, no disputes are occurring till the invoice processing and the accounts payable stage is there. There are very, if you see the entire process nowadays, it's very less chances to have a dispute also or any differences in the reconciliation items. So that's the best part of a vendor relationship management, typically called as VRM. So for my business purposes, it is turning out to be a very key process in terms of strategic importance. Strong vendor relationship enhances cost efficiency, competitiveness and adaptability to evolving technologies. So these are the strategic importance benefits which are there in the vendor management, in this vendor relationship management. The key components of VRM includes selecting suitable vendors, categorizing relationships, managing contracts and mitigating risks effectively. So as we saw, having one single vendor is of no use. I need to have a multiple choice available all the time, assuring the that much quantity is being provided to me also or not. So that's the kind of comfort which I get in the VRM process. In a way, I have shortlisted those vendors which are relevant to me. I have not onboarded all the whole population of vendors. I am selective in my, I am choosy in my vendors also. At times, in a way, this relationship gets developed for ages. You know, there are typically this kind of relationship gets established in automotive sector, because in automotive sector the requirements are already freezed. You know, the vendors are specific only. There is not much, no more or big number of vendors or population of vendors wherein I get confused. I can be choosy. I can develop that vendor also as per my needs. So that kind of a hand holding also is done in vendor relationship management. At times the vendor might be in a funding issue, liquidity issue. I can handhold him because I need to ensure that he provides me with the supply of the raw material on the regular basis. He is hardworking, you know, he is sincere, he has really that quality. Instead of he start, you know, getting affected because his bread and butter is depending on my business orders also. So I can handhold him. So in a way it's like a win-win situation. I hold him up, make him stand on his own feet also at times, maybe by supporting some extra credit period or reducing the credit period so that he doesn't face a liquidity crunch. All these are relationships which are expected in the VRM. You know, it should be a sustainable model, not that okay, if you are able to give, provide, otherwise walk away. That's no more a sustainable way of doing a business. I need to hold him forever. You know, that's how the relationships and the networks get created. In a way, it assures and gives a comfort to my business. So this is how vendor relationship in a way enhances cost efficiency, competitiveness, because then vendor is always sincere about the quality also, because he is getting a continuous business from me. Hence, he will ensure that the quality is not hampered. He will ensure that it is being delivered timely, because I am giving a assurance that okay, the payment will be released timely. So he is happy, it's a win-win. I am happy because my requirement is getting fulfilled. He is happy because his money is getting paid timely. Right? So this is a win-win which in a way leads to cost efficiency and competitiveness. So he is always ensuring that I don't go to any other vendor, and he doesn't create competitors for himself. If he is lacking in the services, maybe a point in time will come that I will start looking for a different vendor altogether. So that competitiveness comes to my benefit, because in a way quality is assured, quantity is assured, time is assured. So it enhances efficiency, competitiveness, it enhances adaptability to evolving technologies. Now even vendors gets aware of the technological advancements. Now in a way I can handhold him to help him to develop his technology also, which in a way will benefit me. So that's the kind of support or hand holding or stand up kind of a thing I can do to the vendors. Okay, for both benefit rather, not just my benefit only, but his benefit also. I am creating, or rather, I am in a way sustaining a particular business. I am holding a business. Okay, I am helping the guy to stand up always. That's how VRM comes into play. The key components of VRN is includes selecting suitable vendors, categorizing relationships, managing contracts, and mitigating risks effectively. So we have already discussed about this. These are the factors which are there. Then comes mutual benefit. So again, as I said, win-win situation. That's mutual benefit. Both are getting benefited in this entire P2P process, if it is followed as explained right now. So VRM fosters trust and collaboration, benefiting both the organization and its suppliers in the long term. So in a way, example to give, like there are classic examples. Everyone is like, I'm quoting just as an example said, nothing to do promote or nothing to talk specific about a particular group. Like anybody or everyone is willing to work with or provide raw material or have relationship in some form or the other with Tata Group or Mahindra Group, that's a kind of trust and mutual benefit both the groups have assured. So this is how the relationships work, vendor relationship management. So if you see wherever these plants get set up for Tatas or Mahindras, the ancillary industries which are the local industries are over there, the economy entirely gets benefited. The small vendors are in a way getting work in terms of requirement which is being asked by the vendor, by the groups like Mahindra and Tata also. And then in a way, this is what is whole about, self-sufficiency. I am developing the economy around my plant also, which is going to later benefit to me only. Ancillary industries associated to my industry, so that's called as tertiary industries. Primary industries, let's say automotive. Tertiary industries is all the supportive industries which are there. I need some parts, the carburetor. So there will be manufacturers around the carburetor who are catering creation of carburetor or developing or manufacturing carburetor as per my specifications. So that's how the benefits comes into play. Mutual benefits are there. Long-term relationships gets established or developed. Operational impact is again a critical aspect of VRM. Good VRM improves total cost of ownership. Total cost of ownership ensures quality, optimizes data flow for better decision making. So in a way, I have all the necessary data. How much of quantity he has supplied to me for past 2 years, 3 years, all the data will be available. Because there is a consistency in the relationship also. At the same time, there is confidence in the relationship also. There is trust also in that relationship, and hence operational impact is always there. There is always a comfort at the back of the mind of the organization that okay, I am rest assured my production cycle is not going to be hampered. He is ensuring, the vendor is always ensuring that the product reaches to me on time, at the right cost and at the right quantity and quality. So that's the operational impact. My process is always seamless. I don't have to pick up the call, send the material. No, he doesn't have to follow, give me the payment, give me the payment, nothing. Less of hassles, less of disputes. Everything is seamless. So that's where the total cost of ownership comes. So that's ECO, total cost of ownership. So owning that, so the why vendor we should be bothering about my production cycle, he is owning that entire process of supply. Okay, he is a key component of my process. He starts feeling inclusive, he starts feeling belongingness with me. Yes, I am a part of Mahindra Group, or I am a part of Tata Group, for just to give an example. So that belongingness, that connectivity, that intent is very clear. I feel like working with that kind of a group. That's how the operational impacts come. He will stand up for me also at times when there is an emergency or a crisis of shortage of material. He will work day and night for me and somehow manage the availability of the material. That's the kind of commitment will be coming from both the sides. That's how the operational impact is there, which is called as total cost of ownership. Assures quality and optimizes data flow for decision making. value creation. So this is again everywhere, any damn process which is being followed by the organization has to ensure that it is adding value to the organization or not. Any value is getting created or not. So to that, strategic partnerships enable timely delivery of high quality products, services, contributing to the business growth and value creation. So because there are no disruptions, there are no held-ups, there are no haltages, there are no stoppages, the value and the business growth happens in the business. That's what is value creation about vendor relationship. Moving on to another aspect which is 1.4 and which is a second concept in the chapter of introduction to performance management is the supply chain management. So this is a new buzzword, SCM, what we call. So changing business environment and the rise of supply chain. Now have you wondered how these Amazons and Flipkarts and God knows what all e-commerce companies are so popular nowadays? Because their supply chain management is brilliant. You know, they ensure timely delivery. They ensure that the right product which has been asked by the retailer, like you and me as an end customer or end user, is provided to him. There are very less of returns, very less of refunds. That is an indicator of the performance of the supply chain. Okay, because the topic is all about strategic performance management. So how the performance management of Amazon can be measured? One, how many refunds are happening, how many returns are happening of goods. It's a measurement to the performance of Amazon, isn't it? Because if less returns, less refunds, less spoilages, less disputes, less complaints, then the performance is right or on the track. However, if there is a dispute, there are more of refunds, more of returns, more of quality issues, the surveys, the feedbacks, all those happens by the Amazon also or by the Flipkart. I'm naming these organizations just as a example, real life example only. Nothing to do with the promotion or anything. That's the way the organizations have started thinking. So this is how the rise of supply chain mechanism has come to existence. So e-commerce in a way, because the changing business environment is what, up till now it was just commerce, now it is e-commerce, commerce through electronics, right, which was not there a point in time. Because of corona, the acceptability from both the sides has happened, the necessity of e-commerce has arisen, the necessity of e-commerce has risen to a peak. Now no one can survive without e-commerce. So no one can go back to the traditional way of doing commerce or trade. They have to have adopted the e-commerce model by default. So even as simple as a small time trader of your street has started adopting the technology. He has started creating his own WhatsApp group of the customers who are in the vicinity of his. Yes or no? So even the small time food grain grocery shop also has a network of people on WhatsApp, or he might develop a small app also for himself, depending on what sort of capacity he has to develop and use the technology or procure the technology according to his needs. For him it's much more, because he has started hiring a delivery boy himself now, who is willing to, and that too at free of cost, round the clock, 24/7. So medicine shops nowadays, earlier medicines never used to get delivered at home. Now because of corona, e-commerce, people are being hired to deliver the medicines also at the shop, because there are kind of people who are old, they don't want to leave from their house, even the environment is bad to leave the house and go on for shopping at times. There are thefts, risks associated, so the delivery will be made at the doorstep, D2D. So delivery to even the farm fresh for that matter. So right from the farm, the vegetables are coming to your doorstep on the real-time basis, same day, within hours. Grocers, grofers, etc. All these apps which we see, Dunzo, Swiggy, Zomato are ensuring that the delivery is happening fastest, within time. Zepto, all these are the e-commerce related ancillary industries. So Amazon and Flipkarts and the of the D-Mart etc. of the world are the main business, but at the same time the ancillary industries are getting developed like delivery boys or delivery service providers etc. So this is how the entire globalization and competition has have started happening. Rapid globalization and severe competition have changed the business dynamics, requiring innovative approaches to management. So up till now, traditionally, the businesses used to find the pride that okay, I am such kind of a business that I don't have anywhere any branch. That was a acceptable model at that point in time. I am this, I am a sole distributor. I am a sole producer only. It's no more the pride that or a USP of yourself. The marketing strategy has to be changed now. I have to have reached to the, because if I have to gain market share, I need to penetrate the market. So I need to have my stores or make the product available at every nook and corner, every last point of the sale also. Wherever the customer is, I should be able to make that good of mine available. So you can see all the Cokes and Pepsis of the world, the Lays, as small as glucose biscuit packet also is available to the nearby, small tapri, what we call, small shop, or even a panwala for that matter. He has that glucose biscuit. Even a tea stall also has that kind of glucose biscuit or a variety of products available in his shop or in his stall. So that's the kind of penetration of market is happening. If you really see the market, there is no real substitute that has come to the glucose Parle G glucose biscuit. Quickly we go for glucose biscuit only. Okay, and they have made it so cheap and in a so small quantity also. A 5 rupee has some 5-6 biscuits. It's sufficient for my requirement of immediate, hunger satisfaction. One tea, small tea cutting, and a biscuit pack of 5 rupees also is sufficient for my. Many people live on those also during the day. It's a lunch also for few guys. So that's the kind of penetration that glucose kind of a product has done. Maggi. Maggi is available everywhere. Even a tea stall nowadays quickly makes Maggi, gives it to customer. He has got this kind of a revenue models which are there. So these are ancillary. His main shop is tea shop, tea stall. But these are ancillary because the product is reaching to the last person in the society easily, right? So that's how the globalization and competition is making business. Supply chain. So how? So in a way, Parle-G has ensured the supply chain such a way that it is reaching to the last gully of the locality also. Yes or no? It is available to the last person in the society. It is available to the last person in the geography also. So we have seen many ads nowadays that okay, what you can say, Maggi for that matter. Maggi you can get in Ladakh also. Okay, wherein you can, no other product has easily reached out, but Maggi has reached out Ladakh, such kind of an environment which is climatically challenging, but Maggi is available. So on the roadside, there are a lot of stalls which are there. Along with tea, you can get a Maggi. So when you go through northeast or in Himalayas, Simla, Kulu, Manali, etc., those geographies have these kind of products made available. That's possible because there is a efficient supply chain management. You're getting the point? So globalization and so changing business environment and rise of supply chains have assured globalization and competition. Rapid globalization and severe competition have changed the business dynamics, requiring innovative approaches to management. Evolving customer awareness, increased customer awareness demands businesses to focus on value, quality and responsiveness. So just to give an example, if at all any defect is there in a particular product, immediately someone goes across and starts giving the solution and customer awareness is getting created. Again the classic example of Maggi, or even for that matter Johnson and Johnson powder, baby powder. So there was a point in time when both these these products were question mark in terms of quality. Assuming Magic has some lead or some bad component in their ingredients which are harmful for health. So the entire Maggi market or the product was required to be called off. There were requirements of testing, lab testing which was required to be done on the product again to re-establish and give assurance to the entire market and the end customers that okay, the product is safe to consume. There are no bad components like lead etc. in that particular product which is being told. So this is the customer awareness, and again now in a way Maggi is back into business as it was earlier, or rather more now. Similarly with Johnson. So Johnson baby powder, there was some kind of a bad period which came saying that okay, the powder is impacting the babies and it's causing cancer. Heard of it? There was a issue which was there with the Johnson baby powder, and hence there was a issue again and a question mark on that particular product. Then immediately the marketing team of Johnson & Johnson and the quality team of Johnson & Johnson worked upon it. They again back tested the product, and in a way with the lab testing etc. they assured that there are no such kind of ingredients which are there which are harming the skin of that any human being. And now if you see the Johnson & Johnson powder bottle, they are saying it's plant based, it's organic. So if you see that bottle, if you happen to just see, it's organic, it's saying it is plant based. So it's herbal in a way, or safe to use. So that's how evolving customer awareness, increased customer awareness demands businesses to focus on cost, quality, value, quality and responsiveness. Now the responsiveness has to be immediate because the social media has reached out in such a way. That's where the rising of changing business environment. So social media, bad publicity at times kill the market or kills the business also. So the responsiveness to the particular issue in terms of cost, quality, etc. has to be addressed immediately. And hence the increased customer awareness demands businesses to focus the responsiveness also. Earlier days, okay, he has complained to us, we will look into the complaint, we will address to it at some point in time. That kind of a lethargy approach was allowed or permitted, was being accepted by the customers also. But nowadays, no more. If you don't give me the response immediately, I am going to the next product or next alternative or next choice which is there in the market. So in a way, competitiveness has been enhanced. The assurance to the cost and quality is assured by the businesses. Role of technology and geography. Rapid technological advancements and geographical factors have reshaped supply chain efficiency and collaboration. So if at all I have to supply goods because there is a demand in some kind of a remote area, I have to ensure that the supply chain caters to that demand also. I can't ignore that demand. Just because it is geographically a challenging area like Ladakh, climatic conditions bad, roads are not so really good, the transportation is going to be a challenge, climatic conditions are going to affect my transportation, and hence not catering to that geography is no more acceptable. I have to tap to that market, I have to cater to that production, I have to cater to that customer, those customers also, give equal importance to those customers also as equal to the major cities customers. Both have to be treated at par. Right? So that's how the supply chain has got efficient, effective now. Supply chain includes obviously transportation. So role of technology and geography, rapid technological advancement. So again, if he has a network, he is able to track the order also. What has been. So even Amazon has reached that point. The delivery is happening now through the supply chain. Maybe Amazon doesn't have a direct workshop or a warehouse over there, but he might have some kind of storage capacity with some vendor, have that material stock over there, have those warehouses, small warehouses, and ensure the supply is happening of any Amazon product that the Ladakh local guy is ordering. That's the way the supply chain has reached to the last person, and efficiency and market share penetration is happening now. I can ensure that I get that market share. So role of technology and geography, rapid technological advancements and geographical factors have reshaped supply chain efficiency and collaboration. Now when we say collaboration, do I need to have my own vehicle to reach out to Ladakh every time? No, not required. I can hire the local, tourist guides, tourist vehicles which are there. While you are carrying the tourists, you can carry the goods also. The economy will facilitate that. That kind of a business will get developed. So new vehicles can come into existence. New transportation vehicles can be taken on loan by the localites over there, right? Because now up till now they were just supporting the tourism business, taking the tourists to the various places which are there. Now I can take the goods also along with the people. Or else if there is lack of tourism during a particular season, then the vehicle doesn't remain idle. It's made available. Classic example is the Ola Uber facility which is there in the major cities or wherever it is. Instead of remaining idle, that vehicle immediately I can switch over. I can take the localites also for travel tour, onboard them, send them locally, or if I am sitting idle, I can put my vehicle onto the Ola Uber, get registered with Ola Uber and start transporting the people from one place to the other also. So in a way, along with the this thing, I can ensure that okay, the goods can also be transferred by keeping them in the dicky. Some kind of courier services can also be done, and that's how the Rapido, while going to office, I can carry a person also as a pillion rider and earn my money and drop him also on my way. So all this along with the delivery of goods also possible. That's how Zomato, Swiggy, part-time Zomato, part-time Swiggy association collaborations happen. So efficiency is increased in the supply chain and collaborative mechanism of delivering the goods is happening. Shift in competition. Competition now occurs between entire supply chains, not just individual organization or fostering interdependence. So in a way, interdependencies have increased. If I have a model of supply, now Swiggy Zomato can cater to every damn e-commerce company, right? He has set up a model in such a way that he can cater to any damn person, any damn local broker also, any damn local trader also, any damn local medicine shop also, any damn small hotel also, or a snack joint also, as simple as that. That's how the shift in competition has happened. So who is delivering fastest? So now that kind of a USP or unique selling point is coming up. The classic example or the ad which we are seeing nowadays is, what was that? How come you have delivered in one day? I'm not able to recollect. Maybe in the next lecture I'll cover and come back to you. But there is an ad which is going on that the customer is shouting the delivery boy, how that you have come and delivered me in one day. Okay, so that's the efficiency which has been achieved, the competitiveness that has come. Because traditionally it used to take some 3-4 days. Now it's happening in one day. So the customer is like amazed and shouting at the delivery boy. So that's how shift in competition has happened. And now competition now occurs between the entire supply chain. So if you are not able to deliver fastest, then I'll go to some other. If not Zepto, I will go to Dunzo. If not Dunzo, I will go to Swiggy. If not Swiggy, then I'll go to Zomato. Or else, if at all any local guy who has started this, so maybe rickshawalas nowadays have got into this kind of a, delivery or a part of supply chain also. So while I am traveling by rickshaw or while I am driving rickshaw and dropping the vendors or dropping the passengers, if at all there is no passenger available, in the meanwhile I can deliver the goods also, permitted. So they get attached to the supply chain. So typically the classic example is this porter model, porter which we see. So all those transport vehicles which used to sit idle, now they have got a business. So this is how the shift in competition happens by just not individual organism. It fosters interdependency. Foster means enhances, improves. So two different models are interdependent on each other. So that's the shift in competition which has happened. Survival through supply chain, the sink and swim principle. Now what is meant by that? What is sink and what is swim? I am getting into business. Now do I jump into the water or tank or sea to get sunk, to get sink, or to swim? Normally to swim, right? I need to go through that business. I need to swim. I need to travel. I don't go to die down myself or get sink or get sunk. So that's the sink or swim principle, underscores the critical role of supply chain efficiency in the organization success. So how do I swim? I need to travel from one point to the other point. So swimming means in a way the movement of the goods or the continuous supply of chain which has to ensure, rather than getting sunk by not being able to deliver. If you are not able to give delivery on time, your production is getting hampered, your marketing is getting hampered, your sales are not getting improved, stock is lying idle, then there is no more need of production because already there is stock, but I am not able to deliver it faster way. So that's how the swim and sink principle in a way underscores the critical role of supply chain efficiency in organization success. So this is all about supply chain, changing business environment and the rise of supply chain which is happening. Then let's get into the key concepts of supply chain. The definition of supply chain: a network of interconnected companies collaborating to perform inputs into finished products for consumers. Right? पानी मिलेगा क्या देखो? अमर, I'll wait for you. Thank you. So let's see the key components and of the or the concepts of supply chain. Definition of supply chain: it is a network. It is a network, right? So there is a network of delivery which is there. There is a network of transportation vehicles which is there in the supply chain, which is essential. There is a network of shopkeepers where I can store my products. I can keep the products at their doorstep so that the customer can easily get and procure the raw material or the finished product. So that's the network of shopkeepers that I have with me, because I need those shopkeepers. I can't have always my own storehouse. So I can use their storehouses also. So I can pay rent for that, or maybe I can give a product of mine at a discount. So either pay rent for stocking the product at his doorstep or his storehouse or his go down, instead of having my own go down over there. So I'm saving my cost by having a network of shopkeepers, by having a network of delivery boys, by having a network of transport vehicles. So a network interconnected companies collaborating to transform inputs into finished products for consumers. So I can have a network of vendors also to ensure the supply. So from there, all the collaboration starts. So creating networks is nowadays, you can't remain isolated. I have to collaborate with a lot of networks or create my own network by hiring or employing people. Now that's turning out to be a costly model. So might as well have some kind of arrangement with the outsource model of vehicle transports rather than having my own vehicles, because if I have to have my own vehicles, I need to buy them. You know, all those cost impacts are there. It's not a strategic move. There is already some kind of a model which is their business model. Collaborate with him, make the best of out of it. Rather than developing it in-house, I can outsource it. All the activities which are there in the supply chain by creating a network and collaborating with various companies, thereby transforming inputs into finished products for the consumers. So in the supply chain, these four flows of supply chain are very essential. What are those flows? These four components should be continuously flowing in supply chain. Okay, that will ensure the success of supply chain management. Which are those four? One is material flow, information flow, finance flow, and commercial flows represent core functional areas of supply chain operations. There has to be a continuous flow of material. There has to be continuous flow of exchange of information. So that's the tracker. The goods have been dispatched, have reached the local point, out for delivery. You know, we see all that flow of information. Then comes finance. Okay, the moment the payment is done, it reaches out to the person who has sold. So when I'm making a payment, when the delivery happens on Amazon or Flipkart, the payment is immediately done by any mode: UPI, bank transaction, net banking, credit card, debit card, whatever banking channels are available currently right now. Accordingly, the payment is now, even at the time of payment, I am not just associated with a particular payment bank only. I have various options which I have created a network of, you know, payment channels also. I can pay through Razorpay, I can make a payment through Paytm, I can make a payment through GPay, I can make a payment through Amazon Wallet. Any damn banking channel or payment channel which is available, I can make a use of it. So that's a network available, because the customer, I have to ensure that the customer is facilitated to make the payment immediately to me, because I don't have to face a liquidity crunch. The moment I am not here to give goods on credit. Goods are never given on credit in e-commerce. At the most, EMI option is available when the banking channels payments are happening. So no cost EMI, you know, zero cost EMI on credit card payments, etc. are coming into play. So that's how the four flows of supply chain represent core functional areas of supply chain operations. Value chain perspective. Supply chains are also referred to as value chains, emphasizing value-added activities at each step. So value chain perspective, every step in the supply chain is adding value to my business. Wrong material going to the doorstep of any customer happens. That's the kind of value creation has been done by the material supplier also, the local shopkeeper. I have ordered for something and something else gets delivered to me. No more. You know, I have ordered for some food, let's say I have ordered for some burger. The burger only will come to me. Instead of burger, pizza is not going to come to me. That's the kind of material flow is getting assured. So supply chains are also referred to as value chain, because they are adding value to the entire value chain, value addition to the entire process of helping the business to reach to the customer with the right product. That's the value addition, and hence, because it is enhancing the value, it is called also as a value chain. Emphasizing value added activities at each step. So in a way, supply chain is a value chain also, because every step is adding some value or the other. Payment banking facility, which is a part of supply chain, even that is adding value to the entire supply chain business, right? They are facilitators for the banking payment. Now, if that banking doesn't happen in a faster way, then there will be disputes, there will be issues, unnecessary. The liquidity issues will come up with the Amazon and Flipkarts of the world, which they don't want because the money blocked is of no use. So real-time banking channel adds value to the supply chain in a way. Demand change perspective. Viewed as demand change when focused on fulfilling customer-driven demands from upstream suppliers. So in a way, a small-time customer which is ordering even a 50 rupee product, still he is getting the delivery. Just because you have ordered 50 rupees, I'm going to neglect you. No more that kind of attitude is being kept by the businesses. Earlier days it used to happen to ignore him because the cost of reaching out to him is much more than the product of value of product that he has ordered. So in short, if I have to give a 50 rupee product, I have to spend from my own pocket 100 rupees. Not a wiser thing to do the business, right? But now, even if it's 50, my cost of delivery is so minimized because of this network available and interdependencies efficiently managed. I am able to afford that delivery of 50 rupees also, product of 50 rupees also to the last person in the society. That's real the value, that's where the value chain concept comes into existence. Demand chain, again, the demand chain ensures that the customer, every customer gets a wow moment and is assuring that the customer is fulfilled. That customer requirement is fulfilled. So viewed as demand chains when focused on fulfilling customer driven demand from upstream supplier. Who is the upstream supplier? Amazon. In this case, for example, Amazon is the upstream supplier. Who is the downstream supplier? The local shopkeeper. So Amazon has tied up with that particular local shopkeeper who is assuring that he gets the packet of Lays to his doorstep. Right? Or so Amazon is a facilitator. In a way, Amazon has tied up with the producers of Lays or any other wafers you can see. They are utilizing this network now to market their product or make the product available to the last person in the society. Otherwise, traditionally the Coke or any other PepsiCo was difficult to reach out to the last person in the society. Now this supply chain is facilitating even the Coke to be delivered at the doorstep. Home delivery. So that's the buzzword which is coming up. So demand chain perspective has been satisfied, and lastly the importance of coordination. Supply chain management optimizes production, inventory, location and transportation for efficiency and responsiveness. All these are key aspects of the supply chain. Which one? Production. I have to ensure that there is a continuous production chain cycle at my factory or at my shop or at my warehouse. My warehouse should be well stocked. Inventory, that's where the inventory comes. I should have sufficient amount of inventory in my warehouse. Then comes the location. Now I need to have a warehouse at such a location that I am able to deliver the product at the right time, right place, faster, speedy, anywhere. So location is now either having a rented warehouse myself at a particular location or use that shopkeeper's godown as my location also. So the business model in the supply chain also are getting changed. Earlier days there was a pride in having a branch or a store branch at the remote locations also. Now it's no more required. Okay, I can tie up with someone and have my product presence over there. So in a way, importance of coordination, it optimizes production, inventory, location and transportation also, as we saw ample examples of transportation. Fastest transportation of goods is happening for efficiency and responsiveness. So in a way, this enhances the efficiency and responsiveness of the businesses also. So these are the various key concepts in supply chain management, definition and key concepts. So let's focus on the four functional key aspects of the supply chain. The four intrinsic flows of supply chain management. Material flow. For all manufacturing entities, materials flow from the beginning of the supply chain and flows to the customers as finished products who are at the end of the supply chain. Has to be ensured. So material flow is nothing but right from raw material procurement till the finished goods supply. All these are material flow, which is critical for the supply chain. Then comes the information flow. Unlike material flow, information flows both upstream and downstream. Upstream is what? I need to come to know what sort of preferences or the orders is the customers are giving. You know, we have this facility, I am surfing through a particular app. I do intend to buy that app, but I don't need it right now, so I'll park it into the cart. So I can keep it in my cart, you know, shopping cart, virtually, that particular product. So customer starts getting the preferences that you are looking at, and accordingly the businesses have started suggesting him the products also. In a way, he has put a particular product into the cart, means he is liking that kind of products. So might as well then suggest him with various alternatives for that kind of a product. You're getting it? So the choices and alternatives are available to the customer. Customer is likely to get hooked to that kind of a suggestion also. So while, and then there are again packages. So along with this product, if you buy these two products, I can give more discount. You know, so packaging of products are happening. So if I am buying a mobile, automatically the accessories is also shown. You know, accessories can be at a discount then made available. So this is a kind of a packaging which is happening with the information flows, because the information of the customer preferences are getting provided upstream to the supplier, and then accordingly downstream means what? The customer is getting a comfort that okay, the product has started from the warehouse, it is in transit, reaching out to the local pickup point or delivery point. Then from that delivery point, it has moved out for delivery and is going to reach out to my place or the address at so and so time or before so and so time on so and so date. That's the kind of information flow is happening upstream and downstream in the whole supply chain, and differs from requirement in another supply chain. So again, information flow depends on the kind of business and the need of supply chain is. So accordingly, the information flow is being customized to the needs of the customer and associated businesses. Customized information flow. Then comes finance flow. So in finance flow, finance is the lifeblood of business, and therefore smooth finance flow is an important aspect of the supply chain. Without smooth finance flow, supply chains falters and becomes ineffective. Falters means fails and becomes ineffective. Finance flows downstream and ultimately adds value to the supply chain. So immediately the customer should be able to pay the amount directly and ensures the finance flow, because the moment I get the money, I'll have to provide the money and make the payment to the vendor also, or in between the shopkeeper who has stocked my inventory. So all these payment cycles are ensured. You know, the finance flow happens smoothly and no one is unhappy about the finances also. So this is very critical in supply chain, because the moment shopkeeper gets unhappy, he is going to stop the Amazon keeping the inventory at his store. If he fails, if he is unhappy, then my end customer is not going to get the delivery in the fastest way. Then someone else will come up and eat up that place, that business. So that's how the finance flow has to be kept smooth. Then comes the commercial flow. Most supply chains represent a transactional commercial flow. This means that the material flow that runs through the supply chain changes its ownership. This transactional commercial flow will only take place in supply chain where there are more than one company in the supply chain. So commercial flow means what? There are multiple service providers involved in the supply chain. The material vendor, then the shopkeeper, then the network of transporters. All these are commercial people who are there in my supply chain. So the commerce flows seamlessly. The trade flows seamlessly, right? So this is the most supply chain represent a transactional commercial flow. This means that the material flow that runs through the supply chain changes its ownership. This transactional commercial flow will only take place in a supply chain where there are more than one company in the supply chain. So again, that shopkeeper is not just catering to Amazon. He is willing to cater to Flipkart requirements also. He is willing to cater to any other e-commerce company for that matter. So that's the kind of commercial flow is happening because of this kind of a supply chain. So this is the basic model. If you see on the upper arrow, there is a value creation and delivery which is happening at every point in time from supplier, the material goes to the supplier. Then from supplier it goes to the OEM. OEM means original equipment manufacturer. Then from OEM it goes to distributor, from distributor to the retailer, and from retailer to the customer. And then back the upward arrow which is there is about demand from the customers. So that's how the supply chain model is all about. So moving ahead, let's quickly understand the objectives and components of supply chain management which is there. Broad objectives is minimizing system-wide cost while ensuring customer requirements are met efficiently and effectively. Efficiently and effectively both are different. Efficiently means seamlessly and effectively means at the right cost, right time, right quality. So that's the broad objective, and it saves cost, ensuring customer requirements are met efficiently and effectively. Key components are logistics and integration, distinguishing logistics within organization from supply chain across companies, focusing on partnerships and coordination. 5 decision areas are there which has to be ensured in the supply chain: production, inventory, location, transportation and information, essential for effective supply chain operations. So these are the key components of the supply chain management. Customer satisfaction and efficiency at the end of the day is necessary for every business. Balancing timely delivery, quality and internal efficiency to optimize investments and operating expenses is the objective and key component of the supply chain. The customer should be satisfied fully. That's the ultimate aim or the objective that a supply chain is there, right? The whole purpose of doing business is the customer is the king, right? So customer should be well satisfied. He should be a repeat customer, not one-off customer. He should be willing to do and order more and more from me. Get hooked too. That's what it is called in marketing. You have got hooked too. I have to hook the customers. And then comes the strategic alignment. Supply chains are customized to serve mass markets with cost leadership or niche markets with responsiveness. So if I have to get a mileage for myself, traction for myself, I have to have strategic alignment. Supply chains are customized to serve mass markets, huge markets, large populations. So in a way, Flipkart and Amazon in India are catering to or ready to cater to almost the entire population, say which is like 150 crores, right? If at all, that's the number of population we have, almost around 145 crores and 150 crores. So it's a huge mass market which is there, which is being catered and served with cost leadership and at the cheapest discount, the cheapest amount. So just to quickly, the five decision areas which were there: production, inventory. Let's focus on that, what it means. The components of supply chain: production, producing as per the requirements of the market is the primary requirement of supply chain management. So producing that what is required, nothing to be produced unnecessary, not to produce those goods which are not having any demand. That's the key of supply chain. I should be able to supply that what is getting demanded, right? Then it's a efficiency. So producing as per the requirements of the market is the primary requirement of supply chain management. It needs immaculate planning. Master production schedules have to be in place which takes into account plant capacities, workload balancing, quality control and equipment maintenance scheduling also. So my production process has to be robust, well equipped, up to date, seamless, smooth, efficient, effective. All this in a way ensures that the supply, because that's the starting point, okay, to the end customer satisfaction. And hence it is a major component of supply chain. Then comes inventory. In supply chain management, decisions regarding inventory to be held at each stage of the supply chain is crucial, as a wrong decision has a cascading effect. In short, if at all a particular location short quantity is only being supplied, then what happens? Let's say suddenly because of the climatic conditions people are not able to step out and eat out somewhere and they decide to have Maggie only at home, you know, then suddenly there is a demand of Maggie. I'm again giving Maggie because it's an easy product to cook, 2 minutes to cook. You don't need much of, kitchen requirements. Even like a, student can prepare that. So if at all the Maggie product per se is not made available and short of quantity at that location, or there is no sufficient inventory or stock over there, then it's going to impact the supply chain. Less of demand, then less of production, then less of requirement. Why? Because short of inventory. So it's a very key component of supply chain also. So one is crucial, as a wrong decision has a cascading effect. Inventory often acts as a buffer against uncertainty in the supply chain. Let's say for some reason the production gets impacted, electricity outage, I am not able to produce any particular goods. But the supply chain inventory has assured that though the production has got affected, the customer demand is going to get satisfied because there is a sufficient inventory at that remote location which is made available. So immaculate planning has to be there. Master planning is required to assure that the inventory properly is there at the respective location. However, higher the inventory, higher is the cost of holding. As I said, every raw material or a finished product lying on the floor is idle money, which is costly, not the right way to do the business. And hence appropriate calculation of the demand requirement has to be there. Accordingly the production schedule has to be made. Accordingly the inventory has to be appropriately maintained at that respective location. Higher the inventory, higher is the cost of holding. Thus optimal inventory levels needs to be fixed, which will have a positive impact on the links of the supply chain. So that's how inventory management is involved. Then comes the location, storage. Okay, the next important issue in supply chain management is the selection of location for production and storage of inventory. Now if the production is happening some remote area in Kanyakumari kind of a plant, and if I have to give a delivery to Ladakh, is it not wise to have a small unit also somewhere in the north to be able to reduce the time and be able to provide the material at the remote location like Ladakh also for that matter. So again the location is a key determinant factor in supply chain. Either have a production unit itself there or have sufficient storage warehouses available made to. Okay. So the selection of location for production and storage of inventory, the underlying issue is cost efficiency. These decisions facilitate products to flow through the supply to the final customer. Then comes transportation. Decision regarding inventory discussed previously also is related to the mode of transportation, whether I should send the material by air or by road or by ship or by bullock cart or by anything. Depends on what sort of cost of transportation in and what time I need to ensure that the delivery has to happen and where the location is. So even transportation plays a key important role. Delayed movement of products and uncertainty transportation may impact the supply chain. The uncertainty may be countered with the higher stock levels. So if at all transportation is difficult, have appropriate stock levels at the remote location. This is the balancing act which the businessman has to decide, or the organization has to be decide, or the supply chain management officer or the head has to decide about this. It's a very critical function, or the rather the nerve of the business. The flow of blood has to be assured in the human body, right? Nervous system should be best, and supply chain management is nothing but the nervous system of the business, right? So that's how you should look at it. Then comes the information smooth. We have already explained about it. Both upward, downward flow of information should be seamless and correct, accurate, complete. So people can make effective decisions about what to produce and how much to produce, about where to locate inventory and how best to transport it also. Conclusion, we are almost at the end of the concept, the two concepts that we saw, and the conclusion of SCM is, so SCM is procurement to pay a inherent step of supply chain? Yes, of course. P2P process is a part of supply chain, right? So conclusion is what? Effective and efficient deliberation of the above mentioned issues are the key ingredient of an effective supply chain. And OEM, which is the original equipment manufacturer, for instance car, I have been telling about food products only. The classic example is car. Every car model is now being assured to be produced in such way that it can assure the climatic conditions of Ladakh also. I'm just again and again giving Ladakh because it's a remote location. It's a climatically challenging location. It's a geographically challenging location. And if I have to ensure that the Maruti car is getting delivered over there, the Maruti car production should be such that it is acclimatized to the weather conditions over there also. That kind of a thought process has to be done when the automation or the automotive sector is producing cars. If Maruti is able to, then why not Hyundai? Why not Tata? You know, all this kind of a competitiveness comes into this. So the OEM in a way is targeting cost leadership to address the mass market out over there, would create and manage a supply chain based on the optimization of cost. Now, if I have to cater to the plant, or to cater to the Ladakh person, I need to have a plant of manufacturing somewhere in the north, maybe Gurgaon, maybe Chandigarh, somewhere around, or maybe Delhi for that matter, so that the transportation cost is reduced instead of sending the vehicle from the plant which is there in the Kanyakumari. So again, this product plant locations also becomes part of the supply chain. If the OEM targets a niche market, it would have created a supply chain optimized on the basis of customer satisfaction and responsiveness. Thus, a supply chain and its management creates an identification of the company and the market it serves. So that's the market oriented focus that the businesses have to ensure, and accordingly the supply chain management and including the procure to pay functionality has to be assured. So if at all any questions are there, we can take it up. Umed, you have any questions? All clear? Self-explanatory. It's a concept. Okay. With real life examples, I have tried to make you understand the whole concept of P2P, vendor management, vendor relationship management, and supply chain management also, which are key processes for any businesses, and more so impacting the performance management of the organization. So whole topic is about performance management. So as financial analysis performance is essential, so is the supply chain management also performance is essential. So is the procurement to pay and vendor relation management as a function essential for the performance, strategic performance management. That's how the whole topic is all about. So we'll stop for the day. It's almost 8:30. Thanks for your patient hearing. If at all anyone is there online, signing off here, Pushkaraj Vishnu Doshi. See you in the next section with the other remaining concepts of chapter 1. Signing off here for the day. Pushkaraj Vishnu Doshi. See you. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.